Today is September the 2nd. My name is Malik and this is Speak On It. A production of the Retro Current team, nonprofit, member of CAN TV, Chicago Access Network. For those of you that think it's just a pop can. No, it has meaning. And it's got a history. I ain't gonna get into all that, but I think some of us give Harold Washington some credit. Because once upon a time, there was discussion about community people having access to cable and all those type of things. And you all need to just know, just because we're here, don't mean we don't remember how we got here. There are pioneers that was here when I got here. Brother Bill, he's still here. Ahmed, I think I'm almost certain Keith was here. A lot of folk. And a lot has been done, and a lot will be done. But nonprofit services is just one aspect of the operation. And that's what this production is under, the nonprofit. Now today we're going to look at some issues. And as I stated, and now this will be the third show where we have significantly reduced the amount of time that we are presenting. And that's got to do with COVID status. COVID appears to be not as rigid as it was a couple of years ago. People are making other type of arrangements now without expecting to die. I was talking to a parent today. I have seen her walk her children to school. A girl that's probably 12 and a boy that's probably 9 or 10, and a baby that was in her belly. Now, they Hispanic. I don't know which country they're from, but they don't feel like Mexicans, but they speak Spanish. So I watched these children, and the baby that was in her belly is now walking to school and going to school. But for the last 2 days, I didn't see the boy and the belly baby. So this morning, I asked. She don't speak too much English, but she understood what I was saying. I said, where's the boy and where's the baby? And she said, well, the boy tested positive for COVID, and the baby has not been vaccinated. I said, But I sort of figured that something was happening because she had been walking the girl to school and picking her up. The other two children wasn't there. Now that the baby is now in school, once she get vaccinated, and I didn't ask the woman, it wasn't none of my business. I've seen her husband, he seemed to be a cool dude, he came. They got a house the Negroes used to have, right there in Inglewood, right in the middle of it. Negroes, they're taking things for granted. They've been down on their luck. I guess somebody died and left them the place, and all they could do is drink and act a fool. And they had a young boy to walk by me every day going to school. And he was a poor thing. I had to do a little work with him because his self-esteem was all the way messed up because of what he was with. Bottom line is, the Hispanic family got the house. They done turned it into a beautiful joint. Put an extension on the back. Dude came here, didn't even have a vehicle. Now he got 2 trucks, Hispanic. You understand? So really, I ain't got a whole lot of conversation about all this conversation. I really don't. I saw them come, and many others. And take something that we had inherited from our parents. And now the whole damn school in the block and community is basically Hispanics. Because you didn't have enough foresight to do anything other than you. They speak every morning. They friendly. They polite. They don't walk around looking like they got an attitude. Now, some of them got kids that's growing up, learning how to be a thug in America. You know what I'm saying? But then, they also try to drop a little knowledge. speak a little Spanish, and I pick up a few words. Little boy said the other day, hola. I said, So it took me a while. Then over the summer at a park, little girl said, hola. Hell, they don't know me, they just see me, but it's sort of like my energy. Kids have a way of doing that. So I asked the little boy the other day, because I didn't remember too much of my Spanish from back in the day when they made us take it, and I was at Hyde Park. I said, what is hola? He said, hello. And then I said, como esta, My tongue always been sort of tied, sort of thick. All of that rolling. No, I do just fine spitting this half so-called English. But all of that is relevant. It's relevant because things have changed. That boogeyman that they turned loose and allowed to kill millions, they did that. They did. And now they finna add another vaccine, Omicron, and it ain't even been tested on human beings. So now they gonna want us to feel some kind of way and go run take this vaccine. Like I said before, I ain't taking no more damn vaccines. You bastards. There's a little sensation. I ain't never felt it before until after I took that booster. And I felt it the same day, as soon as I got up to walk out of there, I said, damn, what's that? And I ain't been back to no doctor to tell them nothing. For what? For them to lie and say, oh no, you getting ready to die. We got to give you this. No, hell no, you ain't going to tell me nothing. Because you used it to set people up and to kill them. And I know y'all might even block this because you don't want nobody to tell nothing that's their truth. But I know on that one, I walked out of the school where I got the shot, which was a mistake. When I went to the drugstore and got it, they said have a seat and sit here for 30 minutes. But them white folks that they had in the school right there, once again in Inglewood, you could tell they didn't want to be bothered. Because it's like, the community sort of poor, and I think I was just one of two or three there, and they weren't feeling too much. They weren't feeling us. Just, you could tell. They ain't told you nothing. Rolled up my sleeve, hit me with it. I got up. I stumbled. I said, damn, what's happening? But I finally got back to my car. That was that trick. The trick. So now that the trick is changing, and now that they got this other boogie bear, monkeypox. But I was reading the other day, they said, no, there's those that say they woke, they wanted to change it from monkeypox. They wanted to call it the da-da-da-da-da. You people so stupid. If the damn thing is monkeypox, let it be monkeypox. But now you want to play with people, confuse people, and get people caught up. But you still got children that can't go to school. Because one child come and they assume that the whole classroom is contaminated. That's why we can cut back some now, because we don't need as much time to fill this spot or to say as much as we used to say. But we're going to say enough. We're going to start off, Brother Amari, with this piece. It's amazing. Lightfoot really, she really just can't stay in her damn place. And Pricks is just a sorry creature. Lightfoot ain't got no damn business thinking that she could go back and forth with the governor of Texas. That should have been something that Pricks with his behind. He and the governor of Texas should have been negotiating, should have been talking, should have been figuring things out. But that little attitude of thinking, I don't know what the hell it's thinking. But it creates confusion and problems. Now you're signifying about the governor of Texas. And then that female they got, you damn black females, boy, the one in Washington, you running your mouth. But at least she's doing it with a different tone. Life would make folks want to come, and if they was going to be polite and cooperate, she make them want to fight. So now she's slamming this man, calling him immoral. All this old name calling. Put that thing up there, Omar. Let people, if you can't find a video, I couldn't find a video. So I just put the headline up there. Let people see this. What? Calling people immoral? Because he sent some people to Chicago, sanctuary city. You say you want them. You say you'll take them from wherever they are. So he send you something. And what did you do? You start saying that he's immoral, he this and that. Yeah, hell, they can say the same damn thing about you. Man, always want to fight. Always want to slam. But then when somebody says something about the picture's dark and you think it should be light, then you say, poor me, they picking on me because of my race. Whew. Damn. How did y'all get into this situation? I don't see that piece. Did that piece ever come up, Amari? Texas Governor Barrett sent busloads.
Governor of Texas sends a message and a busload of migrants to Chicago. You may have received this breaking news alert or watched our coverage on our streaming network, CBS News Chicago.
They arrived this evening at Union Station. CBS 2's Maribel Gonzalez spoke to some of them about their journey. She joins us, Maribel.
Yeah, that's right. Just moments ago, dozens of them getting dropped off here at Union Station. Among the group of families and babies. We did speak to a few of them who told us about that journey to get here. They said they're arriving hungry as they say they haven't eaten during the more than 24-hour trip from Texas to the city of Chicago. But most of all, feeling lost in a new city where a lot of them say they don't have any connections or family. Let's take a look at the video that we were able to capture earlier tonight. We arrived just as these migrants were getting off the coach buses. From there, many of them sat down on the sidewalk right outside of Union Station as they waited to hear what was next for them. A couple of people who didn't want to tell us what organization they were with to protect the privacy of the group told them in Spanish that they would be taken to a center where they would receive a hot meal and a shower and where they would be spending the night. From there, they were escorted onto a CTA bus by OEMC officers and taken to that undisclosed location. A few of them stayed behind, telling us they actually had family here in Chicago who would be picking them up later. As we know, the transport of these migrants is happening under the order of Texas Governor Greg Abbott in response to what he calls President Biden's open door policies that are, quote, overwhelming border communities in Texas. Under this directive, he's sending migrants who arrived to Texas to Washington, D.C. and New York and now Chicago, which is a sanctuary city. The group tonight is coming from Eagle Pass, and we spoke to one man from Venezuela who told us it took him 2 months to get to the border, and he
there are kids, there are pregnant women, and it's a very tough pass through Central America. We just crossed the border from Mexico yesterday, and we got onto a bus from Texas, and they said that we were going to Chicago, and someone was expecting us here.
Meanwhile, Mayor Lori Lightfoot says the transport of migrants to the city of Chicago is nothing new. The city has been welcoming hundreds of them every year and providing them with the immediate care and assistance that they need, something they intend to do with this group as well. Reporting outside of Union Station, Maribel Gonzalez, CBS 2 News.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to figure out why
Peru is now included in my 18th.
A headline that she slams the governor. She turned it into something that it's not. She didn't say that about all them people from Ukraine, all them Afghans. She ain't said nothing to my knowledge. But now she want to get on a bandwagon with that political, turn it into socialism foolishness. Because he's a Republican from Texas, and he's saying, Biden, you ain't brought your sorry old butt down here yet. And you act like it ain't happening. So I'm going to help you out. I'm going to take them, instead of sending them back to Mexico, I'm going to send them to your sanctuary cities. Seems like to me, that's humane. You know what I'm saying? I mean, why you talking crazy? You say everybody can come, but a Negro, as long as you ain't no damn descendant of slaves in America, you cool with this administration. But if you was a Negro, They don't want to be bothered with you at all. And yeah, I'm from Texas, but that ain't the point. I know Abbott has got his ways, but he seems to be a better politician in a wheelchair than 99.9% of all the rest of them in Washington, the city halls, and the damn spraying fields, so-called state capitals. Because Pritzker, you'd be better off having one of them things, what you call it, snack Pritzkers, where you take that little thing with the salt on it and start eating it. Because for what good he's doing, all of this violence just rampant. He ain't got enough damn sense to tell her, we're going to send in the National Guard. So you fill out this paperwork and you request that so we can take care of this. That's what a governor would do. If she don't have enough initiative or enough concern to stop the violence, the governor should have enough sense to send his people and give her a directive. I know you elected, but I'm elected over you. I am the governor. Now we're going to stop this here. That's what a governor should do. Particularly when they got somebody that's just running loose. Forget it. Show that other piece, man. There's a couple other pieces here. Just run them back to back as it relates to these people that are coming here and as it relates to the migrants. They don't look like they don't look like no illegal migrants to me. They on the coast. They said they got to eat and get a shower, but I understand they Greyhound for years. Come milk. But no matter where you're going to get food, chill food out, get a shower. Hell, this is good living, man. Come to America, illegal. They put you on a big air-conditioned bus, send you to a city, gonna give you everything in life. And like I said last week, I ain't mad at nobody. You understand me? I ain't mad at nobody that speaks no Spanish that's doing whatever the hell they want to do as relates to being in America. Because they was here before any of these creatures that done made all of these rules about them. Central America, they were speaking Spanish down there before these folks got here. Before that Columbus dude got here, they was already speaking whatever they were speaking. Southern America, not talking about Mississippi. South America. This is North America. Then you have Latin America. All these different places in America before they got here now. And now they are considered illegal. They was here. Now it's illegal for them to walk right across the border, right across the street, right across the river. Now that's illegal. And you came all the way from a cave with your low class, no class, indigent. You was a slave. You was a criminal. And now you done made all these people that was here before you got here illegal. And now you got a colored, a Negro slamming a white man for sending them to a sanctuary city. Harold Washington made a sanctuary. Some folks still talking about that. But at that time, that was a different type of situation. And he empowered the Hispanics. And he did this and that. But ain't nobody never said there is no sanctuary for Negroes.
Bus to Chicago are spending their second night here in the city. Thanks to local organizations, they won't be empty-handed. CBS News' Maribel Gonzalez is live in Pilsen with the outpouring of support and how you can help. Maribel.
Yeah, that's right, Erica. Here at Vault Gallery, donations have been coming in all day. As you can see, they have tissues, blankets, basic bath necessities and self-care necessities, and also toys for the young ones. These are all going towards that group of migrants who, as we saw last night, arrived with only the clothes on their back.
We got all this donations.
In just one day.
in a couple of hours.
Baltasar Enriquez from the Little Village Community Council called on community members and pastors in his area just minutes after this group of about 70 asylum seekers were dropped off at Union Station to see how they could help.
But this is nothing new for Little Village. Little Village is the mecca of immigrants. Everybody comes through here, so we also as immigrants know the feeling, so we know how to provide the services to them because we've been through there.
In just a matter of hours, they were able to fill the office's back room with these essential items.
We got baby clothes, adult clothes, women's sanitary stuff they're sending us, deodorants.
All of which will be dropped off at the Salvation Army, where the migrants are temporarily staying.
The instinct was to help.
A similar undertaking also happening at this art gallery in Pilsen.
So we got like just necessities, toothbrushes, Q-tips, soaps, deodorants, tissues.
Where this group of activists turned to social media to ask for supplies. Delilah Martinez owns the gallery.
We all started asking everybody from our social media following to donate $5, $10, $15, and we quickly, within a couple hours, raised about $500. And their donations are still coming in.
For them, it's about helping those in need, but it's also about sending a message of a community united for a cause.
Everybody's trying to help, and it's like, that's a good thing, because we could show the governor from Texas that you can send anybody you want over here, we'll take care of them.
It shows that, you know, when something happens in Chicago, it's like Chicago shows up.
Yeah, these two organizations that we mentioned have set up GoFundMe pages, and they say they intend to use some of that money to give the migrants who are staying at the Salvation Army gift cards once they leave the shelter and pending their immigration cases. The Salvation Army, we're told, is also accepting donations and supplies. Just make sure you call ahead to coordinate that drop-off. Live in Pilsen, Maribel Gonzalez, CBS 2 News.
All right, Maribel on top of the story from the start last night.
Now,
and now with the update
you
tonight.
see how that community, Pilsen Little Village, come apart? Those communities rally, come together to help. And what we got in the Negro community is a bunch of lying, double-tongued, parasitic, so-called faith-based pimps. Can't even feed the black homeless in the community right there side the church. They call the police on the homeless. And all the homeless right there side the church ain't dope fiends. They ain't. They ain't bombs. They ain't. They just people that just need a little help. Here are these people, Hispanic people. You heard the man. We don't care. We've been in their place. We here. And we are here to help them with what they need. You understand? Yeah, Negro. Yeah, I think these Hispanics finna move right on over y'all. Yeah. They probably gonna elect Lopez Hispanic for mayor. Because you Negroes ain't got enough damn sense to look out for your own interests. I said that. Yeah. But don't be hating on these people that's coming together to help their own. Go on, man.
I think does a disservice to you and a disservice to the city of Chicago.
The son of former Mayor Eugene Sawyer today telling Lori Lightfoot to apologize for comments she made about his now deceased father. Mayor Lightfoot spoke yesterday at a Southside restaurant.
Our political editor Mike Flannery joins us live now with more.
Anthony and Sally, as Mayor Lightfoot runs for re-election, she claims to have picked up the baton. Mayor Harold Washington left when he died in 1987. And yesterday, she suggested the black mayor who replaced him, Eugene Sawyer, had thrown in with a gang of racists.
After 4 years of everything that Harold Washington tried to do being blocked by a racist mob in city council, that same mob that blocked him from doing anything picked the one that they wanted, the one that they thought that they could control. And December 2nd, 1987 is when Gene Sawyer was instituted as the mayor of the city.
If Eugene Sawyer were still alive, he would have turned 88 years old this coming Saturday. While in college in Alabama, he was a volunteer personal security guard for Martin Luther King Jr. during the Montgomery bus boycott in the early days of the civil rights movement. His son, Roderick Sawyer, is now himself a candidate for mayor, having represented the South Side 6th Ward in the city council. He's among about a half dozen African-American candidates running to unseat Lightfoot. He notes that several of the aldermen who voted to make Eugene Sawyer mayor back in 1987 were very well respected, including the late Kathy Osterman, who at times had been an ally of Mayor Washington. She's the mother of current council member Harry Osterman.
She owes them an apology. She has nothing to worry about from me, but she should really think twice about what she said about those individuals and or their legacy. I sit with one of those individuals, the son of one of those individuals, Harry Osterman, who's a good friend. That person needs an apology. Others need apologies. I think that was just done. It was a self-serving statement, and it was reckless, and it was irresponsible.
We've reached out to Mayor Lightfoot for a response, as well as to Harry Osterman, who is soon to leave the city council. We'll have more on our news at 5 o'clock. I'm political editor Mike Flannery.
Well, I don't want to say too much more about that. That's just going to show you. Man, I mean, she just becoming, to use his word, recklessly. I mean, what was all of that? They talk about people race baiting. Man, she's really, she really used the so-called race card damn near every chance she get, when it ain't necessary. People think that jacket would fit me more than it fit her, because I'm raw as it relates to calling it what it is. But mine is what it is. Hers, you can see. It's I don't know. I mean, you acting like your race has prevented you from whatever. Get the hell out of here, lady. Go on. You think you one of the Negro, you wouldn't call yourself Negro, but that's what I'm calling you before they took it. Elite, privileged at this point. And then every time you got a problem, you holler race. It's ridiculous. Now this black man saying that the way you dissed his dead daddy and you brought up all of that, I mean, why did you need to bring up all of that? Burke's still in the city council. Last I heard anyway. But as soon as you walked in there, you were trying to send him to jail, so it appeared. You were doing all that crazy talk. Bill, he's I don't think he was there then, but those people you just came and you targeted. I mean, how do you supposed to govern? How do you supposed to govern when you are so antagonistic? You understand? I'm gonna leave that alone, because I really don't want to say no more about that. Amara, now let's go to this piece here. That's what she owns.
What does that mean, and what does that look like?
And
Either marijuana or weed has been part of our vernacular or culture for decades. The terms have remained etched in our brains even as the percentage of THC, the essential chemical, has changed, rising to well over 50% now. The psychological impact of the change has been devastating. Ethan Andrews' cannabis addiction started as a young teenager. When he was 18, his casual marijuana use quickly turned into smoking higher THC potent cannabis strains and concentrates known as dabs. THC is the active chemical found in cannabis that produces a high.
I was hearing things, I was seeing things, like I couldn't distinguish what was real and what wasn't.
He was diagnosed with cannabis-induced psychosis, which involves severe hallucinations and delusions.
We're seeing more and more young men with this type of episodes.
Dr. Nora Volkov is the director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse.
People are being exposed to higher and higher content products, and it's much more widely available.
As of today, 19 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized recreational marijuana, while 37 states have approved medical use. But that, Dr. Volkov says, does not mean cannabis use is harmless, especially on adolescent brain development.
The exposure early on to THC modifies the brain in ways that makes it more susceptible later on to other drugs.
My son started with marijuana and ended up using meth and heroin.
After seeing firsthand how marijuana affected her son and husband, Aubrey Adams started Every Brain Matters, an advocacy group that supports and educates families on the harmful effects of cannabis.
It's costing families. It's destroying lives. It's destroying health.
Manufacturers have found ways to add marijuana into vaping devices, edibles, and wax that can contain nearly 100% pure THC, a massive increase from decades ago. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer recently introduced the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act that aims to federally legalize cannabis nationwide.
I think they need to prove to us that this is safe.
It has been 5 years since Ethan made a full recovery from psychosis.
I got so paranoid that my brain was damaged. I'm too traumatized to even smoke weed again.
Marijuana is powerful and dangerous and is sometimes laced with hallucinogens, PCP, embalming fluid, and even fentanyl. Dana?
That's super scary and an important message. Thank you, Dr. Siegel.
Thanks, Dana.
Yeah, but little, I'm gonna stay off of that. Now, they knew this before they made it legal in Illinois and a lot of other states. I mean, how, and I ask this question rhetorically, although I have my own answer that I believe is correct. How did we get to this point where we let these idiots turn the whole damn country into a disease? That was the COVID part of that. And you let these same idiots, basically Democrats, turn everybody, whether they want to or not. They used to talk about contact high. They don't talk about that now. Secondhand smoke. They don't talk about that. Because you get this, you smell this garbage everywhere damn near you go. Walking down the street, driving your car. There it is. How did you allow this to just be released on a society that you know in 15 or 20 years is going to be another type of crack epidemic, another type of COVID release? You already knew this. They've been telling you all the time it make me paranoid. They've been telling you all the time it make me this, it make me this, it kills my brain. They told you that. I'm talking about those that use it. But then you act like nothing wrong with it. Alcohol, it does its damage. But the truth of the matter is, making reefer legal like it is now, and I'm not saying it should be something that you criminalize people for and give them 1,000 years, like they did in Texas, gave this man 90-some years or more for having a roach. No, that ain't fair. But this whole thing that more people now are smoking weed than smoking cigarettes. And a lot of those are young people, children for all practical purposes. So you take them off of tobacco and you turn them loose on weed. And y'all don't see nothing wrong with that? That's what's immoral. All you new generation zombies, that's what's immoral. Now, we moving right along because we're looking at time. Brother, let's look at this piece by this little boy. See, little boy gets shot in the head the other day, up there in Rogers Park. Going over there to see his daddy or whatever.
Okay, this is a...
Now his daddy got shot too, but he ain't dead. Now the baby done died. Now, if you want to slam somebody, you should be slamming the mentality, the tolerance for people to just continue to be attacked, to be victims of crime, whether it's because of a gun, because of a knife, or whatever. No, you don't see a damn thing about that. Because you want to talk about somebody talking about your picture too dark. You want to talk about the governor of Texas sending some people here and you've been providing services to them all the time anyway. And I'm sure that the federal government or the state gonna reimburse you for that. But you just wanted to get out there and play that little racial card and try to declare yourself somehow or another like you part of the Harold Washington team. I mean, who told you that? Go on with it, man.
Tanya Terrell, good morning. Just devastating news for the family of Devin McGregor, who died here from his injuries. According to community activist Andrew Holmes, he was shot in the head and died here overnight here at Lurie Children's Hospital. Police telling us it all unfolded in Rogers Park. Devin was shot in the head near the 7600 block of North Paulina, and that is where he was sitting in a car visiting his mother while saying goodbye to his father, who was also shot. The bullets coming from a passing black Hyundai. Moments ago, Holmes describing that pain for the family of this 5-year-old.
You don't even know the pain that this mother is going through, this family is going through. A mother got to get up in the morning, and she used to her baby probably crawling in that bed with her and getting that hug. As I've been knowing this grandfather for over 20-some years, he's missing his grandchild.
There was a lot of frustration in Holmes' voice, who often helps with these types of crimes around Chicago, and now those numbers are just getting even higher. At least 238 minors have been shot in Chicago this year, with at least 32 being killed. A reward of up to $5,000 is now being offered to help solve this case, because police tell us no one has been arrested as of now.
Now, if you can, that number 6 there with it, where the boy's grandfather, it says, I'm heartbreaking, 5-year-old boy, da-da-da-da. Now, that was before that piece there, because the fact that, that was the piece, I guess you could go back up there to that piece where the boy was standing in the little. What happened is that the father said something, and the pain you could feel in the grandfather. When the grandfather was speaking about being heartbroken, and he was reaching to the air, reaching now to the ancestors, because the politicians, they don't seem to be able to get a handle on this situation. And the sadness is, not only was it in his voice, we heard it in many people's voices, where people are crying out to the politicians because they are elected, they're so-called government. And what anyway down there, it's back closer to I'm gonna say to the top. And what it is that you can hear the pain in the citizens. Like last week we showed you, but I didn't want to do it again today. This thing about the drag racing and all of that stuff, there's a whole different new group of that stuff since last week where they're doing this. And the bottom line is there don't seem to be any type of urgency as it relates to this administration. They don't seem to understand the pain and the fear with the violence. And it ain't enough to talk about gun violence. Violence is the problem, the trauma, the fear. And ain't nobody been arrested. And that's because the fact, like the one you're gonna hear in a minute, the reason it's so crazy is that the person that's killing a person that you see on the news probably has already killed another dozen people and ain't got caught yet. So what's happening is the people that are killing people, that's creating all of this havoc in the community, many times are repeat offenders. But the police and the administration do not see it as an issue to deal with that. Instead, they want to chase other type of phantoms. You can't tell me that, matter of fact, not long ago, a few years back, under Huberman them, they had ways of saying they could track and do this and that and another.
A 17-year-old
probably can. But right now, you are not When I say you, I'm talking about this damn administration. You are not concerned about this because it's basically happening to black people. Now, the price just went up. It was $3,000 earlier today, now it's $5,000. If that was in a Hispanic neighborhood, it'd be at least $50,000. But the life of a black 5-year-old, right now, it just crept up to $5,000 for some help. See? All right, man, go on. Apparently you can't find it, so I don't know what the hell
A
happening.
17-year-old now charged in 11 different carjackings here in Chicago. 9 of them happened on the same night on the city's south and southwest sides, and a 16-year-old has also been charged in 4 of those incidents. Both teens now charged with vehicular carjacking with a firearm.
Now, that one was quick. Run the other piece, brother, where a dude standing up there running his mouth, murders, shootings. Run that piece with the superintendent talk. Because what's happening is, you want to sit here and try to claim some credit for something. No, I don't hold you responsible for the killings. Because you don't know when that's going to happen. Prompto anything. But there's some things you could control. The killings are down, but it's not because of y'all. The killings are down maybe because of the fact that some of the stuff the people in the community are doing. And that's why there's less killings. But it damn sure ain't because of no police work. Because every time we hear anything from the police, they ain't being caught yet. Go on with it, man.
Everyone's ready. I'm going to open up for some comments, and then I'll turn it over to Chief of the Community Safety Coordination Center, Tamara Mahal. We also have here Alderman David Moore here for support, as well as our command staff. I want to start with the crime update for the month to date versus the same time last year and the year-to-date crime numbers. Because of the brave and courageous efforts of our Chicago police officers in coordination with, actually in collaboration with our Community Safety Coordination Center, month to date, that's July to July 2021, homicides are down 44% and shootings are down 26%. That's July 1st through the 11th versus 2022 versus that same period in 2021. The year to date, that's January to July, homicides are down 14% and shootings are down 18%. That's January to July 2022 versus 2021. In our top 55 beats, also called our 5 community areas, homicides are down 27% and shootings are down 33%. Those are the areas primarily on the south and west sides of the city that drive over half of our gun violence. Officers have recovered 6,665 guns so far this year. That's a 4% increase over the guns recovered last year. And as you recall, last year was a record year for gun recoveries for the Chicago Police Department. Citywide, officers have arrested 723 offenders for carjacking-related offenses, and we will continue working hard to protect the people of Chicago. Officers have also made more than 3,000 gun arrests this year. And when our officers recover firearms, that's a potential life saved. And when officers put on their uniform, they do so not knowing what the day might bring, particularly in confronting armed individuals. Officers serve despite the risk to themselves and their families, serve right along with them. 34 officers have been shot at or shot this year, 7 of which were struck by gunfire. On duty or off duty, officers face unknown dangers. On Saturday, an off-duty Chicago police officer was shot. Each of the offenders involved have been arrested and charged and will be held accountable. But that situation just speaks to the occurrence of gun violence in our country. Guns should not be available to individuals who shouldn't have them. Guns should not be used to settle arguments or disagreements. Chicago's communities cannot and will not be held captive by senseless gun violence. The department has family liaison officers in each of our
All right, Amari, you can go. You can stop him. What he didn't say is that in all other categories, crime is up,
and connects them to other.
except those what they don't control. In every other area. So we want to sit there as if, you know what I mean, what the hell? What are you talking about? The things that the criminal control that you don't control, you really missing the point. And I ain't talking about him, I'm talking about the psychology. Come on. There's a lot of folk that know better than what you all doing and can do better. I'm telling you. You're talking about gun violence. Okay, the gun violence is something you ain't stopping. That's happening. And if it's stopping, they stopping it. And that's because some people have gotten out of the joint that's been there for the last 25 and 30 years. And yes, some things are being done on these streets where some of that will begin to curtail. Yes. But that ain't got a damn thing to do with you standing up there having a news conference talking about that type of violence. The stuff that should be regular criminal police business, what are you doing? Robbery, burglary, all of this other stuff. CTA, all of that stuff is off the charts. Do something about that. Stop worrying about all of the stuff, the gun violence. You can't control that no how. Collecting guns, that don't stop it. That don't stop nothing. You go out there and deal with them 13, 14, 10, 11, 9-year-olds that's taking people's cars, that's robbing folks. Brother, run this piece where this family is talking about what happened at that damn red line, that CTA. That's what you need to be running and trying to solve those crimes with your...
Laura Irvine says she's never riding the CTA again.
That was a really bad experience for me.
Irvine says she, her daughter, and her daughter's cousin exited the CTA stop at 95th Street Monday afternoon when they were beaten and robbed by as many as 10 people. Kenya Merrills says they first spotted the group when they all got on the red line at Lake Street, and that soon after exiting at 95th Street, Merrills says they started fighting with her cousin.
I'm looking for him. All of a sudden, I see a fist come near me.
Irvine managed to call 911, but then struggled with one suspect who took her phone. She then rushed to protect her daughter, who suffered a fractured nose. Irvine says she feared the worst.
I just shield my daughter like, no, beat me up or, kill me, don't kill my daughter.
Chicago police are also investigating another incident that happened yesterday near the 95th Street stop, in which a woman was assaulted and robbed by 2 suspects. The CTA says safety of public transit riders is its #1 priority. Merrill says she hopes something can be done to track down the offenders.
How much you want to bet? I'm pretty sure the same people that's constantly assaulting people is still there today.
The CTA says it continues to look for ways to boost security, including the upcoming use of canine teams at both rail stations and bus terminals. In the meantime, Chicago police say these incidents are under investigation.
Now, you see what I'm saying? Those are the type of, you know what's happening at these places, particularly with CTA. But you can't stop that. That's ridiculous. How in the hell can you not stop that, police? Because you running, you scared. Or you just been told not to work and you ain't working. And since you won't hire black Negroes to be the police, you said, we got psychological problems. Well, then why don't you just put us in the area where everybody in the area got the same psychological problems we got, and we can communicate with them crazy folks, and then people can stop being criminals, huh? But what you want to do is bring in these damn non-citizens and all of the Hispanics and Ukrainians and Afghans and make them cops in the Negro community. That's what you're doing. But you say that we can't pass your psychological. Well, then you measuring us by your definition of insane. What's insane is that you have put some things in place, and we, the Negro, are just so slave-oriented that we allow you to do that in our colony. The only way you're going to stop this community, when you get to that, is that you empower the black Negro males in these communities. You've done all you can to empower the female. Lieutenant Governor, President of the board, county board, mayor, state's attorney. Yeah, you've done all.
Certainly are, Karen, and
it ain't changed a damn thing because they still doing what they do, doing messy. That's what they good for. Go solve some cases and stop telling us ain't nobody in custody. Brother, run that blue lobster piece where another person is running for mayor or female.
yes, they certainly are, Karen and Ravi. The young boy's grandfather, understandably emotional, said that the 5-year-old boy was just 3 days into his first year of school, and instead of getting him ready for what would have been his first full week of the school year, they are praying and hoping that doctors here can save the young boy.
All I want my little man to do, I need him to fight, because we need him.
This grandfather trying to console his daughter tonight while also trying to hold it together himself.
I'm heartbroken, I'm crushed. I mean, my grandson.
After his 5-year-old grandson, Devin McGregor, was shot in the head on the 7600 block of North Paulina in the Rogers Park neighborhood.
They were saying goodbye, they was going home so he can get ready to go to school. He wanted to see his father. They went to go see his father, and somebody pulled up and started shooting.
Sergeant said the boy's father, who Chicago police identified as a 25-year-old man, was hit in the hand and shoulder when someone inside a black Hyundai started shooting just after 6 p.m. Community activists fed up over what they've called a crisis on Chicago's children.
The frustrating part is that an individual know who discharged this weapon on these kids and won't say anything. Those of you who have surveillance footage, help us out. Give us that information.
Sergeant said his daughter drove the father and son to St. Francis before the boy was taken to Lurie Children's Hospital.
My daughter literally was pulling off, looked in the rearview mirror, and she saw my grandson trying to breathe or whatever, and she took him out the seat and put him in the front with her.
Now, instead of getting him ready for school, Sergeant and his daughter praying the child will make it through the night.
All these kids want to do is go to school and play, and they can't even do that. And that's messed up. They can't even do that, and it just keep happening. It just keep happening. We got to do something. We got to do something. We got to do something.
So far, Chicago police say no one is in custody, and based off of police recent reports, this young boy is the 12th minor shot in the city since last Monday.
Now, thank you, Amari, for finding that piece. That piece, we got to do something. You hear that, man? We heard it in another piece last week. People saying you got to do something. Who are they talking to? They talking to you damn elected officials. That's who they talking to. But then you want to say that those of us out there that has evidence that we can do something, we are not connected to the so-called universities and these other parasitic agencies that you've been funding for the last 40-some years. But you say evidence-based. Their evidence is that they continue to fail. Our evidence is that things calm down. But because you can't dictate to us, you can't program us, you take the money and you keep giving it to the same damn parasites and the audacity to give a faith-based church, sorry preacher, some money, and he don't even talk to those type of people? Where's his evidence? Huh? When his institution is closed damn near 7 days a week. And when certain type of people, particularly those that got the swag coming from the streets, come in, he gets scared and won't let them in. But that's who you give the money to. Now, I'm a little old to be out there dealing with that now. But I'm telling you, you need to go find folks of my generation and let them deal with this. Because you and your police and all this money and this damn trickster, he finna release that 250-something million, but the first thing he got these little basketball head, ugly Negro politicians saying it's got to be evidence-based. Negro, you know damn well.
Yeah, you can actually see this.
Those people that's doing this in the streets ain't got no evidence-based based upon the criteria of the University of Chicago, who you like to give the money to. And then you bring in some little gopher that knows nothing and put him in charge of something, and things don't do nothing but get worse. And that's where we are. Now, we got 2 pieces left. This piece here, there's a piece, and it's only it's NPR. No, it ain't. It's Tribune.
Yeah, you can actually see the skid marks right behind me, Val. Drag racing and drifting is really getting worse. This morning, video shows people violently attacking squad cars with police officers inside of them, and one woman is killed after a crash on the southwest side, which police say started with drag racing. Cell phone video shows the aftermath of that crash early on Sunday morning. Police say a 27-year-old man and 19-year-old woman were speeding down Cicero near 64th when the man changed lanes, crashing into the woman's car and into 40-year-old Shaman Marius, who was standing on the sidewalk, who later died at the hospital. Hours after that, a chaotic confrontation at Canal and Cermak, where police tried to respond to reports of more drifting and drag racing. 6 police squad cars were damaged. Police tell us members of that same group were involved in a street takeover here at Madison and Morgan in the West Loop.
When the cops tried to break it up, it moved over to where I live, which is close to Racine and Washington.
Last month, council members passed an ordinance that allows the city to impound vehicles that are involved in these crimes, even if police officers are not around. But certainly that has not deterred any of the drag racing and drifting yet. Val and Terrell, back to you.
Now, I want you to think, and I keep saying this, and I'm going to say it until you Negroes snap out of stupid and don't make the same mistake. She's looking forward to June 2023, where she can have this big race car outfit running races and drifting all over Chicago for at least 10 days, closing down the parks. You know, back in the day, anybody would say, well, that's probably ill-advised. I mean, that's just going to encourage and enable, and even in some cases empower, and contribute to the development of another type of criminal activity. Now, this one here is another killer. If you bring that here, they're going to imitate that. You already got a problem with that. So maybe you know not do that. And what's she doing? She beating herself on the chest, patting herself on the back. I'm bringing this here. Lady, you don't need that here. It's already out of control. Police, they ran the police off. Tore up their cars. Made them run like rats running from cats. Over in Inglewood the other night, I was talking to one of the preachers. He said, man, it must be 800, 900 people out here, right here, down there, woo, woo, woo. Police, call the police run out from over there. Because don't nobody respect them police, all them old different people that ain't from the community. They just getting paid for nothing. And you saw that right there. But that's what you trying to do? You need to change. Now, this ain't no thing where I don't like women.
Shocking story we brought you earlier this week. A man is charged with fatally stabbing another man in the Loop.
Nate Rogers live tonight with the latest on that murder case. Nate. Yeah, that's right, Dawn and Anthony. That suspect turned himself into police on yesterday. Authorities still maintain that the suspect and the victim, Jeremy Walker, did not know each other and that this horrific stabbing occurred following road rage.
This was a horrible, senseless act of violence that will not be tolerated within the city of Chicago.
25-year-old Alan Perez now facing first-degree murder charges. Police recovered his vehicle Wednesday. Police also locating persons that were inside the car during the crime. Those passengers cooperating with detectives.
They interviewed those two occupants who were witnesses to the incident. They identified the offender.
All right, for the units in 18 and on the citywide, we have a person stabbed, Dearborn in Ohio.
Police say Perez stabbed 36-year-old Jeremy Walker in the neck Tuesday around 7 p.m. Walker reportedly confronted Perez about honking his horn, the bloody attack ending on Michigan Avenue as hundreds of people were nearby.
I need an ambulance. They're for the Burberry, 638 North Michigan. I got that Kia Forte.
He don't bother nobody. That man go to work and he come home and he take care of his son. And some random person just took him.
Walker was passionate about his car detailing business and raising his 12-year-old son, Jalen. Meanwhile, police say homicides and shootings are down citywide. But here downtown, where the vicious stabbing occurred, murder is up 100%.
We are focused with our resources and our strategies to improve and reduce those crimes in this area.
And Perez is expected to appear in bond court tomorrow. Chicago police telling us he has no previous arrests. State's Attorney Kim Foxx saying because there was not a gun used in this case, it's up to the judge's discretion to decide if he'll be granted bail or not. And as the latest here along Michigan Avenue, Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
Well, it's good to see that Kim Foxx said it won't be tolerated. It do seem that she seemed to be locking up people more often. Now here's the dude, probably ain't even a damn citizen, the little young, probably gang-banging thug. Whole lot of folks dying with them knives because they killing a lot of folks. But because they ain't guns, y'all ain't reporting. But you reported that. But we all know. Every now and then I make a mistake and I blow my horn. But usually, I don't do that now. Because that'll happen. And unless you got a gun that can kill him before he can get to you or shoot you, you need to just leave it alone. But we all know there's no safety. Something can happen to you anywhere. And the police, when they get there, hell, whoever did it, gone to kill another. And the police don't care, like they say. What the hell? Ain't nobody been arrested. You just supposed to accept that. Now, no, don't play that one, Mara. I've noticed something about people. The more you try to educate them, the dumber they try to stay. This piece, do you see this piece where it talks about Laura Washington, where she's talking about this Sophia Keene running for mayor? And like I say, it's not a video as such, it's actually a audio, but you'll see the picture of Laura Sophie Keene standing up there. Basically, it looked like she announcing her candidacy for, no, it's in the other direction. The screen, it ain't going down, it's going up. It's closer to the top, whatever that. See, that's the thing with this system. Top, bottom, whatever it is, that was put up. Yeah, let me just watch. Just continue as you do that, and I'll tell you when. Keep going. You at the house, just look or not. This is how we doing it. This is how we gonna find it. Keep going. That one. Yeah, there you go. That's old school. Kill that by what you're talking about. That's old school. We took time to find it. Period. Go on, man.
With Family Dollar, there's still more outdoor time to enjoy. Keep the party going with favorites like
Well, why
Coca-Cola,
you cleaning up
Doritos,
these
Lay's,
ads?
and Sun Chips. Family Dollar.
This is a good piece.
Laura Washington.
Is Sophia King the blue lobster of the 2023 Chicago mayoral race? It's on. Tuesday, candidates in February's citywide elections will begin gathering signatures. A herd of mayoral hopefuls will scramble to collect valid signatures from 12,500 registered voters to qualify for the ballot. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is facing 8 opponents in her re-election bid, and likely more in the wings. The coming months will separate the poseurs from the players. If no candidate gets more than 50% of the February vote, the top 2 vote-getters will compete in a runoff. Given her popularity ratings, Lightfoot may not win outright, but she is well positioned to make the runoff. Lightfoot is a powerful incumbent. She will raise millions of dollars for her war chest. She enjoys a national profile. In 2019, she won every ward in her first election. Who will be the rare, blue lobster to emerge with Lightfoot in the runoff? You can't beat somebody with nobody. If there is a somebody of the moment, that rare, blue lobster could be Alderman Sophia King, 4th. I love this city. We need a Chicago that's safer and stronger, the 2-term Alderman King declared August 10th in her announcement video. Let's put an end to the false choices because we can have safety and justice, compassion and accountability. We can revitalize neighborhoods and renew downtown. We can educate our young people. We can build our city and build equity. I am running for mayor because we need more collaboration, not more confrontation, and we can go further together. King is the 3rd alderman to announce a run, along with Ray Lopez, 15th, and Roderick Sawyer, 6th. Others in the race include former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis, millionaire businessman Willie Wilson, South Side State Representative Cam Buckner, community activist Jamal Green, and Chicago police officer Frederick Collins. King could be the blue lobster that lands the big fish. In 2016, former Mayor Rahm Emanuel appointed the community activist and schools administrator to fill an aldermanic vacancy. King was elected to the seat in 2017 and again in 2019. Her racially diverse ward, which stretches along the South Lakefront from Hyde Park to downtown, is populated by academic and professional elites, working-class families, and a bounty of reliably voting senior citizens. As alderman, King may be best known for prominence in the renaming game to rechristen 2 city streets for famous Chicagoans. Lakeshore Drive for Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable, the area's first non-native settler, and Congress Parkway for the anti-lynching activist and journalist Ida B. Wells Barnett. King chairs the Chicago City Council's Progressive Reform Caucus. To woo the left-of-center voters who are disenchanted with Lightfoot, King will tout her advocacy of causes such as a $15 an hour minimum wage and equity in community development. While King has collaborated with the mayor on some issues, she has crossed swords with her on others. King has advocated for several public safety initiatives, including an ordinance that mandates community police oversight and a measure that reform the way police raids are conducted. Meanwhile, policy disputes in 2021 snarled King's relationship with the Lightfoot administration and other aldermen, including a zoning restriction King proposed on home museums that kicked up a backlash from some colleagues, the Daily Line reports. King also fought Lightfoot to keeping Mercy Hospital open. The alderwoman argued that the mayor's administration overstepped its legal authority by reshuffling a new hospital owner's legal public commitments. Lightfoot hit back, saying King would rather have let the hospital close. So far, King is the only female to challenge Lightfoot, Chicago's first black female and openly LGBTQ mayor. Earlier this year, Lightfoot, noting that her growing opposition were all men, remarked, "Another day, another man who thinks he can do this job better than me." King took her dare. King's other political plums include her friendship with former President Barack Obama, who has previously endorsed her for alderman. Toni Preckwinkle, the Cook County Board president, and a former 4th Ward alderman herself, has supported and campaigned for King. Preckwinkle lost to Lightfoot in the bitter 2019 mayoral runoff. Since then, the two have a famously chilly, if not downright frozen, relationship. In 2019, black women Lightfoot and Preckwinkle were the top contenders in a 14-person race. This time, those black women could be Lightfoot and King, with Preckwinkle's helping hand. Preckwinkle runs the Cook County Democratic Party and could engineer a party endorsement for King, a coveted prize that brings campaign cash and political resources. As the mayoral contretemps progress, I will be watching one key barometer, my mother. Gwen Washington is an avid Lightfoot fan. She is politically engaged and a very tough sell. She has lived in the 4th Ward for decades. Seniors like Mama care deeply about the basic housekeeping duties that can make or break an alderman. When she ran for alderman, King knocked on my mother's door to ask for her vote. Last year around the holidays, Mama tells me, the aldermanic office arranged a free turkey handout at her building. Mama remains unimpressed. Throughout the pandemic, she complained that King's aldermanic office was frequently closed and information about the ward's activities and operations was hard to come by, Mama said. Really? Who is she to run for mayor? She asked me the other day. We will find out. Laura Washington is a political commentator and longtime Chicago journalist.
Now,
her columns appear in the Tribune.
The reason I thought that was such a good piece is because, as you already know, I've always supported the idea. Basically, if you're going to run for mayor, you need to be coming out to city council. All you damn wannabes and rich folks that just want to get in and run, you know, that's foolishness. Now, actually, what we really need now is this. How does that look? I'm tired of these women. This would be interesting. Lopez, Lightfoot, and Alderman King. That's what we should be looking at. Why? Because they got experience in city council and Sawyer, if you want to run. But I think they probably threw Sawyer in there for some other reasons other than winning. I just got that feeling because I don't even really think he think that these people, you know, you listen to Lightfoot, where she was slamming. A lot of people still think like that. But it would be a good race if you had just the three, the Mexican, the two black women, and be through with it. All the rest of y'all wannabes that ain't got no experience in nothing about city government, you really need to just go sit down. You really do. Because unless you gonna bring something over here, otherwise, y'all need to go on your knees, Negroes, and ask Quinn to come in and be the man so y'all can get back on some type of political, sane, normal platform. Because right now, shit's been out of hand and out of control so long, y'all don't even know what a politician's supposed to do now. But at least that white man, we ain't talking about that damn balance. I'm talking about Queen. That white man will give each one of you all a little something. But right now, I really think you could have a good campaign if you had those two women. Lightfoot is the least experienced of any of them, even though she's been down there in that position called mayor. But those aldermen definitely know more about it than she do. Just something to think about. Let's end with Brother Minister Farrakhan saying a little something about our colony. And then next week, we'll be back if Lord's willing. Until then, Alafia. Peace and good
How does that look? How do we as just regular people control what comes, like the Koreans, like the Chinese? You're not going to a Chinese neighborhood and see a black salon.
No, you're
but
not.
You certainly can see the reverse.
Everybody lives off of us.
Yes.
Right. And that's why they're called in our teaching the bloodsuckers of the poor. They're like leeches. They offer nothing and take everything. So if we are tired of it, then we need to sit down have some town hall meetings, call our politicians out, tell them what we want, and go to work. Go to work taking control of our community. It's not going to be difficult when they see we mean business. And as far as policing the community is concerned, there are many in Congress that are fighting for community policing. Now, you go over here to the hospital, Chicago University Hospital. They got their own police force. They own just about all this territory on the south side, and they own their own police department. They can make arrests and write tickets.
I got 2 of them.
And kill.
And kill.
And kill. So what about us? What about our control? See, when you own it, you have a right to determine how what you own is going to be handled. That's why to take our young gangbangers and make them not talk about control the black community with guns, control it by owning it. And when you own it, then you got a stake in it. We send you down to City Hall. You be the alderman to write the laws that affect what you own.
Come on.
Now you're talking like a man and a woman that is earning respect from others because you're doing what intelligent people do. They control where they live.
Nah. All right, Amari, that's it. The minister made it plain. I can't say nothing else on that.